Chapter 45, Su Wanci avoids Luu. Su Wanci pondered for a few seconds. Then she asked Yuning, you know more about Luu. Have you seen him show genuine feelings apart from those rumored flings over the years? Yuning wore a surprised expression. Darling, how can a playboy have genuine feelings? She earnestly advised, Wanci, if you and Luu are just fooling around, you should guard your heart. Once Yuning finished speaking, she immediately realized that it was impossible for Su Wanci to fall for Luu. Judging by Su Wanci's expression, a fanciful thought crossed Yuning's mind. She exclaimed in shock, Darling, could it be that Luu has fallen for you? Su Wanci's eyelid twitched. But then she denied it. It's unlikely. I've only known him for half a month. However, Su Wanci rubbed her temple and added, but recently, Luu has been appearing in front of me too often. To avoid complications when I leave in the future, I think it's better to maintain some distance between us. She had already attracted Fu Jingzhou, and she found it hard to get away from him. If she attracted Luu too, she might never be able to leave Xiang City in her lifetime. Yuning agreed with Su Wanci's perspective. That's a good idea. If Luu does develop feelings for you, it might not end well when you two eventually part. As Su Wanci was worrying about how to reduce her encounters with Luu, an excellent opportunity presented itself at Hualien Hospital. A day ago, a mountain collapse occurred in the suburbs of a neighboring city, resulting in numerous casualties. Despite sending many rescue workers, they were still short-handed. That morning, Hualien Hospital received an urgent notice to dispatch medical staff to support the rescue efforts. Upon learning this news, Su Wanci had just arrived at the hospital for a short while. She hardly hesitated before putting her name on the list. Meanwhile, on the other side, as soon as Luu arrived at Lushan Group, he received a call from his mother. At the old mansion, Lu's mother was in the kitchen preparing ingredients for lunch. Seeing Luu, she asked, How long is Su Wanci's lunch break? 2.5 hours. Luu stood by the door, observing his mother who was busy with a pile of seafood. What are you doing? Bring Su Wanci over for lunch. I'll cook for you both myself. Luu turned his head and glanced at Lu Xiao, who was watching a tablet in the living room. He smirked, Dad's in for a treat today. Putting the prepared shrimp into a bowl, Lu's mother said, Young man, do you not want children? Luu raised an innocent eyebrow. My wife and I have only been married for half a month. Why the rush? With a slow and deliberate tone, Luu added, But if you're so eager for grandchildren, I can go to an orphanage and adopt one for you. Lu's mother smacked the countertop with her hand, exasperated, You brat, what nonsense are you talking? Luu nonchalantly looked up, lazily saying, Mom, I just want to remind you that you can say these things in front of me, but don't mention them to my wife. It's unrealistic to pressure newlyweds about having children. Yuan Ruoshu. She cherished her daughter-in-law and wouldn't force her into anything. Without Luu's reminder, she wouldn't have pressured Su Wanci anyway. But this son's attitude. Turning her head to glance at Luu, Yuan Ruoshu's anger dissipated, and she directly asked, Does Wanci not like you? Luu. Truly a mother's insight, sticking a knife into her son's heart. Did he need his mom to tell him if his wife didn't like him? He could figure it out for himself, couldn't he? Feeling disheartened, Luu turned away, not responding to his mother's question. He took out his phone and called Su Wanci. On the hospital side, Su Wanci was packing her things when she received Luu's call. Her fingertips paused for a second before she answered. From the phone's speaker came the lazy voice of a man, "Wife, I'll pick you up for lunch. Mom is cooking, and we'll eat at the old mansion." There was a 2-second pause on the other end of the line before Su Wanci spoke. "Lulu, I'm going to the neighboring city for support today. I can't go back. Please let your mom know." "So sudden. When are you leaving?" "At 11 in the morning." Lulu glanced at his phone's screen. It was 9:30 now, so there was an hour and a half left. He asked, "Are you coming back to get your clothes?" "No, I have spare clothes in the resting room." After that statement, there was only light breathing on the line. After a while, just as Su Wanci was about to hang up the phone, Lulu suddenly asked, "Darling, how many days will you be gone?" Su Wanci pursed her lips. "It's not clear yet." After hanging up, the curve of the smile on Lulu's lips completely disappeared. It seemed like she had started distancing herself from him since yesterday. His mother, of course, had heard the conversation's contents. Seeing her daughter-in-law leave while her son remained indifferent, Yuan Ruosha's disdain for her son only grew. She commented, "You've already got the marriage certificate, but you can't even keep your wife. You're utterly useless." Lulu. He put his phone away, gazing helplessly at his mother. "Mom, you can say such things behind my back. You don't need to say them in front of me." Yuan Ruosha countered, "If I don't say them in front of you, how would you know how much I disdain you?" Lulu glanced at the kitchen counter, where half the ingredients were already prepared, and said to Yuan Ruosha, "Mom, just cook." Yuan Ruosha threw her apron to the side. "What am I cooking for? My daughter-in-law isn't coming. You and your father will do. Eat whatever seafood we have. No need for a seafood feast." Lulu. Even his father, who was innocently lying there, was implicated. Now even Liu Xiao, who was engrossed in his tablet, couldn't stand it. He quickly got up and came over to the kitchen door. Angrily, he said to Lulu, "You better chase our daughter-in-law back. Your mom hasn't been in the kitchen for a good 10 days or so. She finally wants to cook, and you're here messing things up." Seeing the identical expressions of disdain on both his parents' faces, Lulu couldn't help but complain, "If it weren't for the paternity test, I would have thought my wife was your biological daughter." Hearing this, Yuan Ruosha retorted, "If Wanci were my precious daughter, with a son-in-law like you, I would encourage her to divorce every day." Lulu. This family was really hard to deal with. As he walked away without looking back, Liu Xiao asked, "Where are you going?" Lulu replied, "To chase back our daughter-in-law for you guys."